everyone, welcome back to the Integrity Botanicals YouTube channel. Today I wanted to do a video all about primers because I think primers can be a little bit confusing. You're like, which one do I use? How does it work? When? Why? Where? I kind of want to talk about the options that we offer over on Integrity Botanicals, explain what their intended use is, and I will speak a little bit to my personal experience with the primers that I use as well. So primers for many people is an additional step. So sometimes, like for every single day, it's not a step that I do, but when I'm having like maybe some dry spots on the skin, or if I want a little bit of pore filling right here, I will utilize them. I have two eye primers I'm going to discuss as well. I'm going to save those for the end, but we're going to start with the 100% pure primers because I think those have been around for the longest, and a lot of you are familiar with them. And not only that, I think that they are one of my more favorite options that we offer as well. So the first up, excuse the packaging, I've had mine for a little while. This is the 100% pure mattifying primer. This retails for $49. What's great about natural primers that's different from your more conventional ones that they usually have very, very skin nourishing ingredients. So it's like an additional step of skincare if nothing else. So the 100% pure primers do have an aloe vera base, which I absolutely love. My skin really enjoys that. It's incredibly soothing on the skin as well. The mattifying formula here is silicone free. All natural products are silicone free, but with that being said, it still helps to minimize shine and fills in all of the lines. Another perk with the 100% pure primer that they come with a pump. They're in these glass bottles. I really, really enjoy that. This is also a vegan formulation. So the matte formula comes out clear, and when you rub it into the skin, it's gonna trick you. Like, this really does feel like your classic silicone base primer. It's a little bit thinner, so you get a lot of slip to the skin, but that helps fill in the pores. It helps the makeup glide on as well. It will like make the makeup apply a little bit more quickly. Not only that, but that more silicone-like texture helps fill in the pores and any of the lines, just so the makeup smooths over those areas and does not collect inside of them. So these more silicone-based primers I don't think do a ton for the longevity of makeup, but I think they make the makeup sit on the skin more nicely, and in turn I feel like that makes you like your makeup on your face for longer, if that makes sense, because sometimes makeup doesn't immediately settle into the lines or immediately settle into the pores. It will do so over time. So having this base layer will really help prevent that. This, of course, is geared towards a more oily to combination skin type as well. It will help reduce the shine a little bit as well. I don't think you're getting all day wear out of your makeup with this, but I do think you will get a better makeup application if those are things that you're struggling with. So that's the 100% pure mattifying option. Also from 100% pure, they have their Luminous option, and this one's $10 cheaper. This one's $39. Also has an aloe vera base in it. This one doesn't come out clear, it comes out white, and it has a very similar silky feel to it, but it's a little bit thicker in texture. It has vitamins and antioxidants in here. It is also formulated with resveratrol, which helps repair the skin on a cellular level. So it's great for any anti-aging. It's great for dry, mature skins because of that. But what's really great about this is that it does have light reflecting pigments in here. So this will help your makeup glide on a little bit better. It will provide a base. But if you have very, very dry skin, very dull skin, this will help give your makeup that luminance. That maybe that you are craving, that luminance, that luminous finish that you're sort of craving. For me, I really, really enjoy utilizing something like that when I'm using a more matte foundation, because I don't desire a matte finish to my skin and I have a more dry complexion. Using something like this will allow you to get maybe the wear time and the comfort that sometimes a matte foundation can offer without your skin looking really, really flat and dry because of your skin type. So if you have more dry, mature skin, this might be a really, really helpful step to add, because it almost behaves like a highlighter, like your first base layer of highlight. So it allows your skin to just shine through, which is a finish that I always really, really like. It's really, really subtle, doesn't feel heavy on the skin at all. So it's a really easy step to incorporate. We have a few priming options from Vapour. I thought it was really cool that during their rebranding, they did release 3 different primers, all for different skin types and different concerns. So let's start with the Essential Daily Primer. If you did catch my last video, it was my review of the Vapour Velvet Glow Foundation. That is a more serum-like foundation, and foundations like that, when I have dry patches on the skin, or if you have more dehydrated skin, something like this is a really, really nice additional step because it behaves almost like a moisturizer. It's very much like a lotion. So this one retails for $45. It's a vegan formula as well. This one is geared towards all skin types, and I think it's because it's this very lotiony extra layer to put on the skin. If you watch any makeup artist, they make sure that the skin is very, very, very nourished beforehand. And what's great about when you're getting nourishment from a primer is that it has all the hydrating properties that you need without it being very, very greasy and heavy. Because sometimes you want to put on a lotion like that because you really want the skin to be hydrated and not dehydrated and not have the makeup just immediately be absorbed, but you need it to sink into the skin because it will conflict with the makeup wear. So I love something like this as someone has more dry, dehydrated skin before I go in with a more serum-like foundation, or if I have if I got a little bit of sun and I notice that my skin has a little bit more dry patches, this is something that I will go in with. So it's not an every single day use for me. It definitely won't hurt. I don't think this really increases makeup time because it's the thing, you need something to be tacky to really increase makeup time. I just think, again, and what I think a lot of natural primers do is that they make the makeup sit better on the skin. So if you're having issues with that, this might be something to look into. It just squeezes out of the tube. This is really, really fuss-free and easy. Again, good for all skin types. Moving right along, we have another one from Vapour. This is their Gentle Illuminating Primer. This one is the most similar to the 100% Pure. This one, however, retails for $60. This one, when you pump it out, it almost has some sort of color to it that helps color correct the skin. It's almost a little bit pink in tone, which can offer some color correction. It has a more satiny finish than 100% Pure. I think it feels a little bit, not heavy on the skin, but it has this really nice effect where I think it's not really illuminating, I think it's skin softening. So it helps fill in any of the pores. It offers that light reflection. There is some sort of luminosity, but it's not as radiant as the 100% Pure because the 100% Pure has those light reflecting pigments in it. So this is great for normal, dry, mature skin. Again, it will help smooth over any fine lines or wrinkles, as well as keep the skin looking not overly dry, because a lot of the conventional primers like the Benefit Professional or something like that, it can really, really exacerbate dryness in the skin because it's overly filling in the pores. This will give you a blurred effect, which is why I think it works great for more dry to mature skin types because you don't want it to collect and sit in those areas. So this is one of my more favorite options as far as primers are concerned. This is one that I use a little bit more regularly. This one, however, does have a scent, and it's a very natural makeup-y kind of scent. So it's not good, it's not bad at all. It just smells like the ingredients that are inside. And it does dissipate over time, but when you initially put this product on the skin, that is something you will pick up. It is formulated with natural essential oils, however. So that's one's from Vapour. Finally, from Vapour, we have the Matte Smoothing Primer. Now this is one that I don't use a ton just because it's not geared towards my skin type. This is for a more oily combination skin type, as you can imagine. This one has no scent, and this one has a much more velvety matte finish. So this one has a little bit of a pink tone as well. However, when you start to rub it in the skin, it just immediately goes clear, which is nice. This one, again, feels a little bit more similar to the 100% Pure Mattifying Primer, but not quite as silicone-y, and I say that because there's not actual silicones in that primer. Yeah, this one just provides a little bit more of a matte finish rather than that silky, seamless finish. This one has a little bit more of a tack to it as well, so this will help makeup adhere to the skin, which is why it's great for a more oily skin type. So if you have a more oily skin type, this is something you could use every day. If you get oily in your T-zone, something like this is really, really great to use in the center here on the chin, between the brows. If I am wearing my makeup for a long period of time, I will sort of spot prime. So I'll do the matte one there, and then I'll use the luminous one on my cheeks, especially on my forehead, because my forehead gets quite dry. So this one's really fuss-free, pretty straightforward. If you want something that will help fill in the fine lines but is less slippery, if you know what I mean, then the 100% Pure, then this would be a great one. All right, next up, from 100% Pure. This one is actually my most favorite in the lineup, I think. This is their Smooth and Prime option, another vegan one. This is $46, comes in a little squeezy tube. This helps prevent creasing and fading, is what it states, and this is actually geared towards a more oily to combo skin, but what I like about this is that it has a more lotiony texture. So when you first apply it to the skin or when you squeeze it out of the tube, it's like a white lotion. Then as we rub it in, I feel the tack on this one. And you always want to feel a little bit of tackiness because that is what helps the makeup stick to the skin. So that is always a really great sign. Typically as you massage it into the skin or as you apply makeup, this dissipates. I think this has a really great in between of being a smoothing, more mattifying primer, but not being drying, where like if you have a dry skin, mature skin, that you cannot use this because it really is a featherweight finish. It does a little bit of smoothing. It does that little bit of priming. This one is really, really great for every single day use. If you are finding that your makeup over time is just settling a little bit, you know, that's really what primers are for. You might get a little bit extra mileage out of these products that you're using, especially if you have a more oily complexion. I think that is one of the biggest grievances with wearing makeup, especially natural products that might have more concentrated like oils and things like that, so it can maybe not last the longest on the skin. This one is just really fuss-free, straightforward. I know it says it's geared for more oily to combo skin, but I would feel pretty safe saying that this is for everyone if you need that extra step to maybe get an extra hour or two out of your makeup, if you know what I mean. All right, let's move along to eye primers, shall we? We have two options on the website. Something I wanted to say while I'm here, you can always use concealer as an eye primer. So typically one that's maybe a little bit thicker. You don't want to apply it too thick because that in itself will crease. But what you need to do when you're applying concealer to the lid is not immediately set it with powder. That is a great tip to do if you have maybe more mature eyelids and you want makeup to just sort of smooth over those areas, then definitely conceal it to color correct it. That's a great perk about using concealer as an eye primer. It will offer color correction if you have purple or veins or something like that. If not, do not immediately set it. Allow the powders from the eyeshadow that you're applying to set it for you because you want a stickiness. That is what the makeup's going to adhere to and in turn last a little bit longer. So you can always use a cream eyeshadow as a primer. You can always use your concealer as a primer. But if you are looking for something that is specifically made for this, then Alima Pure does also offer an eye primer. It's actually quite similar in texture to their face primer. This is also vegan. What's nice about the eye primer here is that this does have a little bit of a pink tone, so it will mildly color correct. Nothing quite like a concealer because it doesn't have coverage. It will just sort of cancel it out a little bit. But this one's a little bit more lotiony. You just need a touch of product. This again has a little bit of stick to it. I love that. That's hard to come across. You need to act a little bit more quickly because of course over time this does set in place. So it helps the eyeshadow adhere due to that sticky texture, which is great, but it's not overly sticky where you're like your eyelids gonna like stick together or something. Not only that, but it is formulated with skin nourishing ingredients. The eye area is very delicate, so if you want something dedicated to that, to make sure you are treating the area respectfully, if you will, then the Alima Pure one's a really great one to look into. It's 20 bucks. It comes in a little tube like this. A little goes a long way. This will last you a lot of time. Now, I have more dry eyelids, not incredibly oily, so I don't really struggle with it. So eye primer is not something I use routinely, but all of the steps that I just recommended to you would be a great thing to try. Next up, Lily Lolo. Well, this is actually the final one. Lily Lolo offers an eye primer now. This eye primer is a little bit waxy, it's a little bit slippery, so for me, I actually really enjoy this to color correct because it has this great yellow tone and beige. You can mix them together. I like to use the yellow tone to correct my eyelids, but then I will immediately set this with powder. If you do not set this with powder, you will experience creasing because it's a more emollient eye primer texture. I've heard of people even using this underneath their eyes as a concealer. So as an eye primer, for me, I like it to do the color correction and then add a more smoothing base. You will not get a ton of longevity out of this from my experience. If you use this and you love it, I would love to know your tips and tricks, but it is a great color correcting option. It is $15, and if you're looking for something to help the eyeshadow go on very, very smooth, but maybe you don't really suffer with any sort of creasing, you just want it to not sit in the fine lines and wrinkles immediately, this would be something to look into, and then just set it with a translucent powder of your choosing. That's from Lolo. So those are all the primers that we offer on the website. I hope that this cleared things up. I know primer can be a little bit confusing. For me, it's not something I use every day, but if you are really struggling with makeup application, especially when you're initially applying it, I highly recommend this step. A good skincare routine can act like a primer as well. I always like to make sure my skin is really, really properly prepped, but these are really nice steps depending on your desired results. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you need some clarification, please do not hesitate to reach out. I am here to help you. I know this is quite a long one, so I will timestamp different primers in the description box down below. I will also have every single product that I mentioned linked down below as well, so you all can check them out. If you enjoyed this video, if you would not mind, please give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe. We upload videos here twice weekly, and I do not want you guys to miss them. But that's it. Primers, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Let me know what video you would like to see next. I would love to help you guys out. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the love and support, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye.